Some of the things that I believe have an impact on the differences, and I don't think we can fully explain it, is that in Europe, for example, and in some of the Asian countries, when they shut down, essentially locked down, they locked down to the tune of about 90+ percent. They really locked down. We have a very large and a very heterogeneous country with different risks in different places geographically and demographically. And in reality, even though we locked down considerably, we only locked down, the estimate is somewhere around 55% or so. So when we had the outbreak, and in Europe, they went up, they peaked, and then they came right down to baseline. They really did go down from thousands of infections to handfuls or so of infections. Whereas in the United States, if you look at our curve, for better or worse, we went up, we peaked, we came down, and we never really came all the way down to baseline. We stayed around 20,000 a day of new cases until the most recent surge, when we went to 30, then 40, then 50, and then 60. So the issue is, we never got down to the baseline so that when you started to open up, you had relatively few amounts of infections to deal with. Whereas when we opened up now, you're seeing the surge. The reason for that are complicated, Mo, and there are many. The issue of how one does a response, you know, we live in a country that from its founding had a federalist bent to it, where there were states that had the independent right and capability of doing things their own way. In many respects, that works to our advantage in other situations. Possibly, that really was a little bit of a disadvantage here. Very difficult to make a definitive comment about the contribution that paid for the difference between what we see here and what we see in Europe.